So, hello everyone, welcome to day 3 of Java Programming Bootcamp powered by EdSpread. So, let's get started. I hope that you guys completed the 3 homework questions given yesterday. If you did complete the questions, please type yes in the chat box. And now let's discuss these questions. First, let's discuss how to write a program for to calculate the area of a circle. So, let's open Eclipse and create a new Java project. And let's name our Java project as day 3 and make sure that you select this use default JRE and click on finish. And now it's asking that whether to create a module or not, but we are not interested in creating a module, so I'm clicking on don't create. So now our project is created. If you double click on source folder, nothing is being displayed, so we need to create a package. So right click on source folder and select new and then click on package and click on finish. So here our package is created. Now let's create a class and let's type it as day 3 underscore homework 1. Make sure that the first letter of the class name is an uppercase letter, and let's select this public static void main method and let's click on finish. So this is our package we created day 3, and this is our class name, that is day 3 underscore homework 1. And now let's discuss this. The problem is how to calculate the area of a circle. So let's write it here, area of a circle. So first let's import the scanner class, which is available in the util package. So import java.util.scanner. Make sure that scanner is a capital letter, that is an uppercase letter. And now we are creating an object, that is scanner input is equals to new scanner of system.in. Now we are declaring radius, that is of double data type. Double radius is equals to input dot next double is the method. So here next double is a method which is available in the scanner class to take the input from a double, that is the floating point number. And now before that, let's give a prompt here saying enter the radius of a circle. And now let's declare another variable, that is of double data type. Double area is equals to input, not input, that is pi r square, that is 3.14 into, that is radius into radius, and let's print out the area. The area of a circle is, and we are concatenating. And now let's execute this. So enter the radius of a circle. Suppose if I enter 3, that is pi r square, that is the area of the circle is 28.26. So here we are done with discussing our first problem, that is first homework problem. And let me write the formula here, that is pi that is 3.14 into radius. Now let's discuss the second homework question, that is sum of natural numbers from 1 to n. So let's open Eclipse and create a new class. and let's name our class as day2 underscore day3 underscore homework 2, and make sure that you include this public static void main method, and the name of the class should be starting, the first letter should be a capital letter, that is an uppercase letter, and click on finish. So here we created our class, that is day3 homework 2 in day3 package, and now let's write our code here. First thing, let's comment this, and sum of natural numbers from 1 to n. The formula of sum of natural numbers from 1 to n is n into n plus 1 divided by 2. So first let's import the scanner class, which is available in the util package, that is import java.util.scanner, and here let's create an object by typing scanner input is equals to, here the input is the object name, you can take it, suppose in, also you can take anything like this, but I'm choosing input, and let's create with the help of new keyword, that is scanner of system.in, that is input. So here let's print the value, that is enter the value of n, and here let's declare a variable or n of int data type, that is int n is equals to input dot next int, which is a method available in scanner class to take input from integers, and here we are declaring another variable, that is integer some variable of integer data type, that is n into n plus 1, make sure that you keep this in brackets, whole divided by 2, and make sure you end with semicolon, and let's print out to the screen the sum of natural numbers from 1 to n is sum. Now let's execute our program. It is enter the value of n, so if I enter 10, I have to get 55, that is sum of natural numbers from 1 to 10 is 55. Now let's enter another number, execute again, and let's execute again and enter one more number, that is 35, and let's execute this. So sum of natural numbers from 1 to 35 is 630. So now let's discuss our final homework problem, that is swapping two numbers. Let's get started. So now let's create a new class, right click on package, select new, and click on class, and let's name it as day3 underscore homework 3, and make sure that the first letter of the class name is a capital letter, that is an uppercase letter, and let's select the public static void main method and click on finish. So here our class name is created with the name day3 underscore homework 3, and this is the main method, and let's write our code here. Swap two variables, and first we need to import the scanner class, which is available in the util package to take the input from the user. So let's import java.util.scanner, and make sure that the scanner's s is a capital letter, that is an uppercase letter. Now let's create an object here, that is scanner input is equals to new scanner system.in, that is input. Now let's declare a variable a of integer data type, and invoke the nextInt method, which is used to take input with the help of which is available in the which is available in the scanner class. So before that, let's print out enter the value of a, and here let's print out enter the value of b, that is, and we are declaring another variable b of integer data type, and we are invoking the nextInt method, which is used to take inputs, which is available in the scanner class. So now let's print something. That is, before swapping \n to go to the new line, a is equals to, let's concatenate, and again b is equals to, and now let's write our main code here, that is the main logic. So now let's declare a temp variable of integer data type, that is int temp is equals to, and assign a to that temporary variable. That is, first step is the second step we have to do is that we have to assign a to b, that is assign b to a, that is a is equals to b. And the third step we have to do is we have to assign temporary variable to b, that is assign temp to b, that is b is equals to temp. So now let's print it out to the screen, that is, after swapping \n to go to the new line, a is equals to, let's concatenate this, and again b is equals to. Now let's execute the program. First, it's asking to enter the value of a, that is, let's enter 5, and let's enter the value of b as 3. So before swapping, a is 5 and b is 3, and now after swapping, a is 3 and b is 5. So here what is happening is, first it is taking the input of a and it is taking the input of b and printing before swapping the value of a is this and the value of b is this. So in our program we gave our input of a as 5 and b as 3. So now what we are doing is we are declaring a temporary variable, that is temporary variable of integer data type, and assigning that to 5. So now if we print the value of temp, 5 will be printed, suppose, and I'll execute this later. So now temporary value is 5. So now we are assigning a value to 3, that is b value. So if you print here, if you print the value of a, it won't be printed as 5, it will be printed as 3. That is the b value, the value of b. And here we are assigning the temporary variables value to b, that is temp value is 5, so b is equals to 5. If we print out here, now a is b, that is a is 3 and b is 5, temporary variables value. So that's it. So now let's discuss about the math class which is available in Java. So first let's create a new class, and that is day3 underscore math, and make sure that the first letter of the class name is a capital letter, that is an uppercase letter, and select the public static void main method, that is the main method, and click on finish. So here a class is created that is date3 underscore math. So there is a math class in Java and that has methods that allow us to perform mathematical operations on numbers. So there are many methods available in the math class like square root method, absolute method and all. But in this video we are going to discuss about these specific methods, that is sqrt, that is square root, and minimum, that returns the minimum value of the number, and maximum, that is max, absolute, that returns the positive value of a number, uh, and pi, which returns the value of pi, that is 3.14. So first let's access the square root method. That is, first let's print out, that is math with M capital letter, math dot sqrt square root of, let's say, 64, and let's execute it. The square root of 64 is 8, that is true. And suppose let's say 16, and let's execute this. We are getting 4, that is 16. So now let's access, let's print out the value of pi. So before that, the square root module, that is sqrt module, is a method. Sqrt method is a method which is used to get the square root of a number in Java. That is, and it is denoted by sqrt. Now let's print the value of pi. That is system.out.println and math with M capital dot pi, with both are capital letters, that is p and I are both are uppercase letter, and let's execute this. So first this is being printed, that is square root of 16 is 4, and math.pi, that is 3.14, is being printed. So now let's demonstrate the ABS method, that is the absolute, that returns the absolute value of a number, that is system.out.println, that is the absolute value of, let's say, minus 34234 is math with M capital and ABS of same minus 34234, and let's execute this. So first square root of 16 is being printed, that is 4, and pi's value is being printed, that is 3.14, and the absolute value of minus 34,234 is plus 34,234. This is being printed. So ABS method returns the absolute value of a number, that is the positive value of a number. So let's write it here. So now let's discuss about the max method, that returns the maximum value of a number, that is max method, that is system.out.println the maximum value of 99 and, let's say, 892 is, let's concatenate, and math with M capital in brackets dot max of 99 comma 892, and let's execute this. So first square root of 16, that is 4, is being printed, and again pi's value, that is 3.14, is being printed, and the absolute value of minus 34,234 is being printed, that is plus 34,234, and finally the max method, that is returning the maximum value of two numbers, that is 99 and 892 is being printed. So max method is a method which returns the maximum value of a number of two numbers. And now let's discuss about the min method, which returns the minimum value of two numbers. That is min method. Now let's print out to the screen system.out.println, and let's say the minimum value of two numbers, let's say 34 and 8 88,943 is some random numbers, and math with m capital dot min function of 34 comma 88943, that is, and let's execute this. So 34 should be printed, so the minimum value of 34 and 88,943 is 34. So these are all the methods, these are some of the methods which are available in the math class, that is, and we discussed here about the square root, which returns the square root of a number. That is, if you pass in square root of 16, it's returning 4, that is the square root of 16 is 4, and here we are printing the value of pi, that is 3.14, and here we are printing the absolute value of a number, that is, suppose minus, we are passing here minus 34,234. Instead of that, we can pass a positive integer also. We will get a positive value, that is 33. Absolute value of absolute value of 33 is 33. So, and here we are taking, like, here we are printing the maximum value of two numbers, that is 99 and 892, that is 892, and here we are printing out the minimum value of two numbers, that is 30 of 34 and 88,943, that is 34. So now let's discuss about conditional statements in Java. Until now our code was being executed line by line, that is sequentially. So if you notice here also, first we are printing out the square root of 16, then we are printing out the value of pi, and then we are printing out the absolute value of 33, that is a number, and then we are printing out the maximum value of two numbers, that is 99 and 892, and then we are printing out the minimum value of two numbers, that is 34 and 88,943. So here if you notice, it is getting sequentially, and if you notice the execution also, first the square root of 16, that is 4, is being printed, then sequentially, that is the next line, that is math.py, that is the value of pi is being printed, that is 3.14, and then again the absolute value of a number, that is 33, is being printed, and then maximum value of two numbers, that is 99 and 892 is being printed, that is 892, and then the minimum value of two numbers, that is 34 and 88,943 is being printed, that is 34. But now you are going to learn about conditional statements available in Java. So let's go to the PPT. So in Java there are 4 types of conditional statements. They are if else, if, and switch statements. So now let's discuss the syntax of these 4 conditional statements. So now syntax of if is if condition in brackets, and let's assume the condition here is, suppose let's assume that 10 is greater than 5. So if the condition is, if this condition, that is 10 greater than 5, is evaluated to be true, then only it will go in these flower brackets and execute the code here, suppose printing high or something. But if it is suppose if it is evaluated as false, that is, suppose let's take another condition, that is 5 is greater than 100. So if 5 is greater than 100, no, that is false. So 5 is less than 100. So what it will do is, it won't even go in the flower brackets or parentheses and exit, and nothing will be printed in the console. So for this we are using if else condition, that is, first it will evaluate, that is 10 is greater than 5. If it is true, it will go into this flower brackets and execute the code, that is print 10 is greater than 5 or something. If suppose 5 is greater than 100, so suppose if we take 5 is greater than 100, no, 5 is less than 100. So it will go to the else part, and else is if it is not true, if the condition is not true, then print this, like execute this code so that something will be printed in the console, like 5 is greater than 100, it is not true, so false. So it will go here else, and it will print 5 is less than 100. So we may use if condition to specify a block of code to be executed if a specified condition is true. That is, here the condition in this brackets is true, then only we can use if condition. And we may use this else to specify a new condition, that is like suppose if this condition is true, this will be executed, and if this condition is false, the else will come into picture. Like if this condition is false, this will be printed, this will be executed. But in if, what is happening if is that if the condition is false, nothing is being printed on the screen. But in if else, what is happening is that if condition is false evaluated to be false, some else part is being executed, so something will be printed on the screen. So now let's go to the next slide, that is the syntax of else if statement. So the syntax of else if statement is like this. So first it will test if condition 1 is true, like condition 1, that is, suppose that let's take 3 is greater than 5. 3 is greater than 5 is false. If this is false, then it will go to this condition. Basically we use else if when there are multiple test cases to test. Like if 3 is greater than 5 is false, so it will come here. And suppose we can take something like here 5 is less than 3, so 5 is less than 3 is also false, so it will come to the else part and it will execute this code. So we can use else if to specify a new condition to test. Like if the first condition is false, we can test the second condition, and if this is also false, we can put the third condition. Like we can put n number of conditions, and the final thing we can put here, if all conditions are false, that is 1 to n conditions are false, this final else will be printed. So now let's go to the next slide, that is the syntax of switch keyword. Like we use switch when we have many decisions to make. Like it works exactly as the same way as the else if statement, but if you have like many number of else if statements, we can use switch. So here the switch keyword works on cases. This switch statement works on cases. Like first we will switch the expression, and then we will have the cases here. Like in else if statement we had, like here in else if statement we had condition 1, condition 2. Here it works on cases. Switch statement basically works on cases. Now here we will have some code after the case, that is the condition. Then we will use the break statement. That is, the break statement is used to exit out of the switch statements, and switch also will have a default case. Like we input anything other than the test cases, this will be default to case will be executed. So as soon as a case is satisfied, it breaks out of the it breaks out of the statement, that is the entire switch block. Like suppose case A is satisfied, it breaks out of the whole switch construct and it executes the other code. So now to understand more about this conditional statements, we will be executing some of the programs. So let's get started with that. So alright, let's create a new class. Right click on the package day3 and select new, and then click on class, and then let's name our class as day3 underscore question1, and make sure that the first letter of this class name is a capital letter, that is an uppercase letter, and make sure that you include this public static void main method and click on finish. So here our class is created day3 question1, and today we are going to do the first question, that is to check whether the which number is greater than two numbers, like the greatest of two numbers. Program to check the greatest of two numbers. So first, we need to take input from the user, so we need to input the scanner class which is there in the util package, that is import java dot util.scanner. So we imported the scanner class which is there in the util package, and make sure that scanners s is a capital letter, that is an uppercase letter, And now let's create an object of scanner class, that is scanner input, that is the object name, is equals to new keyword, and then scanner of in system dot in, that is input. So now our scanner class's object is created. So now we need to declare a variable that is of int data type, that is a is equals to input dot next int, which is a method available in scanner class to take the input from an integer. And before that, let's print enter the value of a. And now let's print out enter the value of b, and we'll declare another variable of int data type, that is b, and we'll take input like with the help of object name, and we are invoking the method that is nextInt, which is available in the scanner class. And that's it. Now here comes our main logic. So what here main logic will come, so like if put parentheses and a is greater than b, then what we are doing, we are opening a parentheses, that is flower brackets, and we are printing out a is the greatest number. Otherwise, what can we do? We can do else we can print b is the greatest number. B is the So let's execute the program, and now it's asking to enter the value of a, let's say 89 or 98, and enter the value of b, that is 32. So a is the greatest number. 98 or 32, which is greatest? 98 is the greatest, so a is the greatest number. So this is the demonstration of an if-else statement. So what if we don't include the else part? Suppose let's cut this and let's execute the program again. So now it's asking the value of a, that is, let's see 32, and value of b is 1. So now it's printing a is the greatest number. But again, if we execute and like if a is the greatest number, it is getting executed. What if this condition is evaluated to be false? If a is less than b, suppose let's type let's execute a is 1 and then b is 32, and if we press enter, nothing is being executed. So we need to have the else part, because if the condition of if is not being evaluated, the else part should execute something. So we should have the else part. Now let's type the same values again by executing the program, that is enter the value of a, it's asking, so let's type 1, and enter the value of b, let's type 32. So b is the greatest number, that is 32 is the greatest number. So now let's write a program to check whether the candidate is eligible to vote or not. So let's create a new class, that is day3. Let's name it as day3 underscore question 2, and make sure to include the public static void main method, and the first letter of this class name should be a capital letter, that is an uppercase letter, and click on finish. So here our class is created with the name day3 question 2, and let's write the code to check whether the candidate, not the candidate, whether a person is eligible to vote or not. So first, to take the input, we have to import the scanner class, which is available in the util package. So let's type import java.util.scanner with a capital S. And now let's create an object of scanner class. So scanner new is equals to scanner input is equals to, that is the object name, and this is the new keyword. With new keyword itself, we are making an object. So new scanner of system.in, that is input. And now let's declare a variable like in of like age. Let's declare a variable age of integer data type, that is int age is equals to input dot nextInt. The nextInt is a method which is available in the scanner class of util package, which is in Java. So now before this, let's print this out, enter your age. So now here comes our main logic, that is now here we will be writing. So usually in India, a candidate is like a person is able to vote if his age is greater than 18. So in the main logic, first we will define if, that is age is greater than 18. We will print you are eligible to vote. Otherwise, if his age is not greater than 18, what we should do? We need to put an else part. Otherwise, if you don't want to put an else part, like if the condition is false, like if age is not greater than 18, nothing will be printed to the screen. So else part should be there, and here you are not eligible to vote until you turn 18. And let's execute the program. So suppose let's type age 8 and let's see, you are not eligible to vote until you turn 18. And now again, if we execute the program, let's say age is 32, that is you are eligible to vote. Or we can just type here like you need to wait for these many years so that it would be easy. Need to wait, that is 18 minus age years to vote. Let's execute the program, and suppose if I type the age is 2, you need to wait 16 years to vote. That is 18 minus 2 is 6, or 2 plus 6, like 18 minus 2, like 18 minus 2 is 16, and 2 plus 16 is 18. So this is our second program, and now let us see an example of switch statement. So let's get started. So now let's create a new class and name it as day3 underscore question 3, and make sure to include this public static void main, and the first letter should be a capital letter, that is an uppercase letter, and click on finish. So here our class is created with the name day3 question 3, and in this program what we are going to do is that we are demonstrating a switch statement, the use of switch statement. So now what we are doing is, if we give a number from 1 to 12, the name of the, like it has to print the name of that month. Like if I give input as name of the month as like 3, March should be printed. And if I give the name of the month as 13, that is invalid month, it should print something invalid month. Now see, if you try to execute, like if you try to write the whole program, you can write this whole program in the if statement also, but it gets kind of long. That's why we are using switch statement. Switch statement, like as I said earlier, switch statement totally works like an if else statement, not if else, else if statement. So first let's take the input from the scanner, like scanner class. Now let's import util scanner class from util package, that is import java.util.scanner, and make sure the scanner's S is a capital letter. And let's create an object of scanner class. scanner input is equals to new scanner system dot input, and let's declare a variable of int data type, that is int month. Month is a variable, and let's take input dot next int, that is a method in scanner class to take input from a number like integer, take input for integers. One second, let's type enter month. Now let's declare another variable of string data type, that is month name, and now let's type the switch keyword, switch, and we'll be switching month. Like based on what the value of the month is, like based on what the value of this month is, suppose month is 1, January should be printed, like that case will be evaluated. We are going to have 12 cases in this, and 1 is the default case. Total 13 cases will be there. So let's write our case 1, that is month name is equals to January, and let's use this break keyword. Break keyword is used to exit from this switch block. So now let's type the case 2, that is case 2, month name is equals to February, and let's use the break keyword. Same thing we have to copy, so let's copy this, and case 3, month name is March, break. Case 4, month name is April, and case 5, month name is May. So case 6, let's paste this, case 6, and month name is June. So case 7, month name is July. Case 8, that is month name is August. Case 9, month name is September. Case 10, month name is October. And case 11, month name is November. Case 12, month name is December. And now we will be having the default case, that is we won't have a 13th month, so greater than 12 it will print the default case, that is default case, that is month name is equals to, type the correct number, or let's type there are 12 months in a year, and let's break this. And now if we execute this, let's try to execute this. So we got an error in line 40, and that is because we didn't put a semicolon. Now let's try to execute this and enter a month. It's saying to enter a month, and if I enter 8, August should be printed. So still the program is not getting executed because we did the whole program, we wrote the whole program, but we are not printing it. So we have to print this outside the switch block, that is month name. And let's execute this again, and let's type enter the value of like enter a month, that is 8, and August should be printed. So it is August is being printed. Let's execute again, and let's type 19, and let's see what it gets executed. There are 12 months in a year, so 12 is less than 19 and 19 is greater than 12, so there are only 12 months in a year, so that's why this is being printed. So let's execute again, and let's type 3, and March is being printed. So break keyword is used to exit from the switch block. That is, if one of the cases gets if one of the case gets satisfied, like case 11, if case 11 is satisfied, that is November. So it breaks it, and it comes out of the switch block, and it prints out the month name. So that's it for today, and there are some practice problems here, like there are some homework questions, and let's discuss this tomorrow, like how to check whether a number is odd or even, and there are 2 more questions. So let's do this tomorrow. Like you guys try to you guys try to do these questions, and if you don't get, I'll be discussing them tomorrow. 4, 5, and 6 questions. These 3 questions we discussed today. And so let me sum up what we have discussed today. Let me give a summary of this. So we discussed these homework questions, that is how to calculate the area of a circle, and then some of natural numbers from 1 to n, and then how to swap 2 numbers by using a temporary variable. And then next we discussed about a math class, that is it is used to perform mathematical operations. So we discussed some of the methods here, like maximum value, which returns the greatest number of 2 numbers, that is greatest of 2 numbers, and absolute of a number, that is it returns the positive value of a given number, and minimum of 2 numbers, that is it returns the minimum of 2 numbers, minimum value of the 2 numbers, and the square root returns the square root of a number, that is square root of 16. Suppose if we give square root of 16, it will return square root of 16 is 4, so it will return 4. So these are the parameters. You have to give these many parameters. If you give less than these parameters, like if you pass only A, you will get an error, and if you pass more than 2, that is A, B, C, you will get an error again. And we discuss about pi method also. To print the value of pi, we use .pi in uppercase letters. And then we discussed about the conditional statements, that there are 4 types of conditional statements, that is if, else, else-if, and switch. And here else-if and switch work in a similar way. They work like if there are 2 to 3 conditions to be evaluated, we can use else-if, but if there are more than 5-6 cases, conditions to be evaluated, we can use the switch statement, so that it gets easier for us, and the code also does not get look cluttered. And switch statement works on cases. So we discussed about the syntax of if and if else, then again else if statement, the syntax, and the syntax of switch keyword. And these are some practice problems, like we discussed these 3 problems, and now we'll be coding these problems tomorrow, and try to do this homework. I will try to share these problems. Let's try to discuss them tomorrow. And if you haven't joined any of our WhatsApp groups, please join our WhatsApp groups, and the attendance link will be posted in the chat box, and the PPTs will be uploaded in the WhatsApp groups, so please do join the WhatsApp groups. So that's it for today. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel, and follow us for more content and more bootcamps. and thank you for watching.